son. This is a Visual Dog exclusive.
The Most High ain't playing no games. You don't wanna fall for anything. Cause nowadays they being led astray by what the world say. Gotta make sure you always before you say okay. And make sure I always line up to what his words say.
Everybody got the sauce, everybody got the juice, but the highest still don't know you. You gotta watch out for the devil and the lies. Everybody think they wise and ain't on nothing, no truth. You gotta cut the pride out your heart by your head and ask her my sheep to come through and give a cleanse to those sins that dwell and cause hell. Not the lies that the world done told you. Most of our brothers on the wide path trying to be seen, falling for that civilian. Said it again, I am that I am. That's what he said. I'm not debating or fighting that. Hating, rebuking our spirits that's trying to rise most high. We don't do no luck. Stay in this word and no idols, no lust. The word is my gun and I'm ready to bust.
The Most High ain't playing no games. You don't wanna fall for anything. Cause nowadays they being led astray by what the world say. Gotta make sure you always pray before you say okay. And make sure I always line up to what his words say. The Most High ain't playing no games. You don't wanna fall for anything. Cause nowadays they being led astray by what the world say.
The world tell you, do as I will. The games is yours. On the strong survive.
Precept on precept, my whole life's documented. I be rocking with them. Hamasi, I got so you sound like Chewbacca or Austin Powers when you say "Bear's your father." Hold up, look. That's the bafflement.
Yeah.
The 4 letters of the alphabet. When I teach you, feel like you took a laxative. You best mind who you take a seat from. You may get a lead John in your crib. Now your wife is a witch and you look like the host of the Tales from the Crib. At least your spirit will. Understand green like chlorophyll. Now it's like you're on the pill. You may think I'm just rapping until these things happen. It's all good till you wake up in hell. Only speak on what you know, and know you know nothing as you ought to know. So with all your getting, get you understanding, and then you will know.
The Most High ain't playing no games. You don't wanna fall for anything. Cause nowadays they being led astray by what. Gotta make sure you all pray before you say okay. And make sure I always line up to what his words say. The Most High ain't playing no games. You don't wanna fall for anything. Cause nowadays they being led astray by what the world say. Gotta make sure you always pray before you say okay. And make sure I always line up to what his words say. The Most High ain't playing no games.
Welcome to the Hebrew state of being. I am your humble servant and host for today. I am Kyle. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Yes, man, it has been yet another week, right? Yet another week where we have, the Most High has seen us through all the drama. He has seen us through everything, really. It has been quite a week. It has been quite a week. Let me just say, for many of you that stay up to date with the news, we know that this news cycle has been a lot. Not just from our orange guy with this big new bill and the deficit that they are now going to put the world of the United States in. You saw the fighting between Elon and Trump, and as much as we don't like either, it's funny to see them go head to head, even though they're all full of lies. we not only have this bill that has been signed that is going to put us trillions of dollars into debt. We're already 33 trillion in debt as we speak, right? There's going to be another 14, as they say, trillion worth of debt to go along with the 33 that we're already in. That is an indication of the fall of a nation. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I don't know if you understand how that applies, but please allow me to explain. Every nation is by the strength of its currency. Right now, I have my brother, Eric B., my cuz, just came back from Morocco. Morocco, our dollar is 10 to 1 in Morocco right now. That means that any Moroccan, that sounds good for you, but if any Moroccan comes here, his wealth has just been diminished by 9/10, from our dollar being 10 times theirs. They come here, they lose it. So if America dollar falls, all the stuff you like to order online, your dollar will no longer go as far. You may, in fact, be making $150,000 a year, but in fact, that $150,000 only feels like $60,000. I want you guys to understand what this big new beautiful dumb stuff is going to do. You hear a lot of them talk about it on the news, and it may be confusing. They give their particular views on this, which is slanted. So you may not understand how this is going to translate directly to you. As the dollar continues to fall, and as BRICS, the alternate, is using natural resources. I see Kev in the building. I see my cousin Michael in the building. I see my rib is in the building. As you will see, these tariffs and taxes and the cost of living rise to a point as our dollar decreases, which means for you that your dollar will not go nearly as far as it used to. Now, that to some still you may not get what has been done to you and what trajectory this place is on. Well, let's go to our next source, but I bring that up for a particular reason to coincide with our lesson today. As evil as what this bill is going to do, as evil as this world has been continuing to put in evil laws against us, we as a people, I see my brother Juan is in the building, we as a people get this attitude that because we are being done wrong, we can do wrong. So to segue into the Diddy conviction, or as many think is he got off. Some believe that he got off. He was convicted of 2 and probably will do time served for those 2 that he's done and have to register himself as a sex offender, which we know will not hamper him too much because he's so well known. If he was not well known, his case was not on there, and he had to move into your neighborhood, and you didn't know who this gentleman was, and you received a card in your mail that said he was a sex offender, you will view him very differently. But because we as Black people, melanated people, Negroes, niggers in this society, we feel as though anything that we get away with is just due because the Caucasian or the Blacks as well, the Boulets that have kept us down, have done it wrong, and they are not of justice. So therefore, we should be able to get away with whatever we do. I see my son Romeo Biff is in the building. Oh, praise. We were just talking about you, son, and your post and how viral it has gone. Oops, how viral it has gone. So we're going to start the show off. My light is acting a donkey right now. Guys gonna have to hold up. All right, sorry about that, guys. Lamp light was just not wanting to cooperate. So, as we look at with the ditty, we're gonna open the show. Welcome. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the Hebrew state of being. In the building, I got my rib, my butter pecan, Miss Artist 28. My youngin' is gone, and my eldest is in Atlanta. So me and the wifey in here solo dolo like kids. All praising to the Most High. Welcome. So, this lesson about us thinking that we can do whatever the hell we want to do because we're in an oppressive state, and that we should celebrate any of our people that are doing evil and get away with it. We must understand that this is the cycle that have kept us in captivity. A righteous people can rise in the midst of evil, but evil people in the midst of evil is going to continue to be a cycle of ups and downs, but still inside of the same crab barrel mentality hell system that's created. I don't know if you guys understand. I think it's a very simple concept. But the other night I had a beautiful elder in my car. She had to be around 88 years old. Picked up about 2 o'clock in the morning from the casino on the way home. And she, at 88, was chiming in on Diddy and saying how she was happy that at least one of our people got off. She brought up Weinstein. She brought up the whole thing that Hollywood does. And I say, Mama, I understand. But when do we as a people decide that right is right and wrong is wrong? Because see, our creator is. As much as we are sitting here trying to do it in our own thought and our own mind and not justifying our actions, the Most High is not doing any of those justifications. If the Most High, in fact, is the one that is going to get you out of this, is the one that's going to break these cycles, the one that's going to cover you in this evil, how can you possibly be doing evil and think that the Most High is going to cover you and give you grace and mercy? How do you think he's going to save you from these iniquities, these ills of the world? We cannot break these cycles that we are in if we're going to act like them. If you want to rally behind Kendrick Lamar and understand they're not like us, and understand that means we are righteous people compared to unrighteous people. He put it as a culture against a culture vulture, a people against some people that are coming in and trying to profit off of his industry, off of his craft, off of our culture. This is the same thing when it comes to evil and good. Our culture is supposed to be righteous. Our culture is supposed to be goodness. It is not supposed to be doing as evil as others. It is not supposed to be believing that everybody's horrible like they do. And I got to get you before you get me. That is not the way that we're supposed to be living. I see Edward in the building. That's not the way we're supposed to be living. That's the way of our capturer. They are dog eat dog. They are only the strong survive. We are righteous people. Wrong is wrong, and we have to stop. We have to stop justifying the ills of this world. We have to stop justifying the sins of our friends, of our family. You all can get together and say, oh, orange guy is evil. You got somebody in your family doing just as wicked as him, just on a smaller level. You don't tell him nothing. In fact, many of you, from all of his books that he sold on how to make a deal, many of you have tried to emulate his style. But now when it doesn't work for you, it's not good. That's what your Republicans are going through right now. They loved him because all the ill and the evil that he was doing, it was to everybody else. Now that he's doing unto his own, they're like, whoa, we're not trying to fight with Israel. I'm trying to send my child over there to fight in Iran. Whoa. You can never love evil. You can never persuade evil to do good by you. There's a old saying that I learned as a child, and maybe it's those old Indian ways, right? But there's an old story that says man was walking through the snow, and the man came across a frozen snake in the snow. The man wanted to save the life. It had been snowing for 3 days. He hadn't seen anybody. He saw this poor frozen snake, so he brought the snake in. Brought the snake in and put it by the fire. Even went and got some food for the snake. Snake started nursing itself back together. Then the snake slid up in his bed and bit him. And he said to the snake, well, how could you, I see my brother in the building, CJ. He said, well, how could you bite me? I nursed you and I saved your life. And the snake said to him, you knew what I was when you brought me in here. We act as though that evil won't bite us. We act as though that if we do more evil than the evil, then we can win. That's our society. If I can do more evil than him, if I can outsmart his evil, if I can be more conniving, if I can be more this crafty, then I can win. Nobody's dealing with righteousness. Nobody working in righteousness. Let's blow the shofar, man, so we can get into these scriptures. We're going to stand to the east of the shofar blast. And what are we doing? We're praying to where the sun comes out in the east, not to Mecca, not to Jerusalem, not to anything that man has made. When we stand to the east and pray for this Shabbat lesson, we pray to the windows of heaven, of the Shemayim. And we're asking the Most High that the words that come through today in his name are the words that answer your questions that you've been dealing with through the week, through the month, through the year. We pray that when you accept his words out of his scripture, not my words, but his words out the scripture, that if you accept them as answers to your questions, to your perplexion, we pray that the Most High levels you up right then, immediately, in that moment, when it resonates with you, whether it be right now, next week, or next year. Let's stand to the east and pray. Shalom. Shabbat. We're going to go to Proverbs chapter 17. Yes. Proverbs chapter 17. And we're going to verse 15. Proverbs chapter 17, verse 15. And it reads, to acquit the guilty and convict the innocent, both are an abomination unto the Most High. Say it again. To acquit the guilty and convict the innocent, both are abominations to the Most High. So whether you are wrong and you get off, it's an abomination. Whether you are innocent and you are convicted, it's the same thing. My wife and I were talking earlier about sin and how in the Ten Commandments, one sin isn't greater than the other. Nor in this instance of letting the wrong person go and convicting the evil, either side, both of you are equally wrong in the Most High's eyes. So how can we sit here when we know, regardless of what the prosecutors could bring forth on Diddy, we know what Diddy has done in our community. We know from what we have seen and with our own eyes, not just what he did to Cassie, but the industry and how that industry has destroyed so many lives, have made them go into homosexuality, have taken young men and young women that were innocent, that were going just to give their craft to the world, and was put into an evil industry that they had no idea what they were coming into, no idea what animals they were going to come across. And we as people, as black people, going to say, well, I'm just glad, I know Diddy ain't right, but I'm just glad he got off because all them white folks be getting off. Do you know how you sound? Do you know how you sound? As my wife told me, and heard her say, what if that was your daughter that was Cassie? Would you feel that way? What if that was your son that he did it to? Would it just be okay then? Because see, that's what you see when the police officers kill our children in the street, and you see that mother crying by herself on the news. Why is there no justice? It's the same as this. You cannot let evil win, no matter how oppressed you are. The title of our lesson is, does your oppression exclude you from being righteous? Does your oppression, does the 400 years of slavery, does the 600 years before that in the Iberian Peninsula and in the west coast of Africa, does that justify you being evil? Or were you evil through this entire 1,000 years? And that's why we haven't been able to break this spell that we're under. Is that a thought? Has that ever been a thought to you that, yeah, they give me all this psychology and everything, but what if the fact that I just can't be right and do right? What is the fact that our people just refuse to do right, and we let every example, every hardship be our reason for not being righteous, for not doing the right thing? Let's go to Micah chapter 6. Micah chapter 6, verse 8. He has told you, O man, what is good and what the Most High requires of you, only to do justice and to love goodness, not to love everybody, but to love goodness. See, the New Testament tells you to love everybody. That's how they got you with these LGBTQ laws. That's how they got you with loving iniquity, because it tells you you're supposed to love your enemy, right? No, the Most High say love goodness. You see the difference between the Old Testament and the New? The New Testament tells you to love evil, and this tells you only love goodness. It says, verse 8 of Micah chapter 6, he has told you, O man, what is good, what the Most High requires of you, only to do justice and to love goodness and to walk modestly with your Creator. Then will your name achieve wisdom. Then will your name achieve wisdom. So if we have not been doing this for 1,000 years, not just the 400 from 1619 to 2019, how about in the Iberian Peninsula? How about since 589 BC? Your name goes into wisdom when you start doing righteous, when you understand that being evil will only get you evil. Being ignorant only going to get you to be more ignorant. And ignorant means that you don't know. That's why the Most High asks you to read so that you know, so that you understand. You're not going to know by listening to man. You're not going to get understanding of the Most High by listening to man. No Fox News, no CNN, no YouTube. None of that's going to teach you the Most High like his word. None, including me. Let's go to Jeremiah 22. Jeremiah chapter 22, verse 3 and 5. Our oppression does not exclude us from holding and being uprighteous. Holding righteousness and being about righteousness. Jeremiah chapter 22, verse 3. Thus says the Most High, Shaddai, do what is just and right. Rescue from the defrauder him who is robbed. Do not wrong the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow. Commit no lawless act, and do not shed the blood of the innocent in this place. Does America do any of those things? Does the United States do any of those things? They do the opposite of those things, do they not? Yes, they do. Well, how can we expect the people to do anything different? The leadership, the government, the professors, the teachers teach a history of being conquerors here in the United States. We teach of coming in and having wars, civil wars, American War, World War I, World War II. We're on the brink of World War III. You don't think that has gone into your psyche? You don't think that has bled into your way of doing things? Wall Street, the movie with Gordon Gekko. I see Sonny Gabriel on the field, and I see with The Wolf of Wall Street with DiCaprio. These two movies show you exactly the mentality of the ones that conquered here. They're just without swords. The mentality is still here, and we applaud it. And you don't think that has gone into your psyche at all? All praises. You don't think that has gone into your psyche at all? You don't think that when you're having problems and you're trying to figure out how do I fix this? What should I do? Be my approach at dealing with one of my friends that's trying to run off on me for money that's owed to me. What, when you going through those scenarios, what are you pulling from in your mind on how to solve those problems? What's in your Rolodex? Are you going into what your mama did? Are you remembering how your mama spazzed out and did this? Are you remembering how your daddy went under the car and grabbed this thing and told somebody? Are you going into what you've seen on the movies? What Rolodex? How are you figuring out where are you pulling your source to solve your problems? Where? If you're not reading the Most High's word and he's telling you how to deal with conflict, when the Most High tells you, I'm your vengeance, not you. I am your vengeance. When they wrong you, they wrong me, as the Most High tells us. When do we get that mentality? Do you ever think that when the person runs off, oh, my creator is going to deal with them because I'm righteous? I know that my creator and the one that has created all of this sun and moon and four seasons and waters and fishes, he's going to deal with them. I'm going to keep my mind focused on being righteous, knowing that he, my creator, will replenish whatever has been taken from me. And possibly if I become a testimony, if I show the proper way of following the Most High in the midst of this trauma, the Most High will actually double what has been taken from me and give it back to me in double fold. Do you think of that when it comes to your problems, or are you ready to just spaz out? Is your spirit ready to just, is your spirit ready to just conquer? Because that's the nation that you're in. A nation that only speaks of the triumphs of conquering another man, another city, another nation. The title of the lesson, does your oppression exclude you from being righteous? No. Verse 4 of Jeremiah chapter 22. For if you fulfill this command, then through the gates of this palace shall enter kings, plural, kings of David's line, who sit upon his throne, riding horse-drawn chariots with their courtiers and their subjects. This is Jeremiah chapter 22, verses 3 through 5, where the Most High says that if we are a righteous people, that if we do not, and I'll read it again, and it says, rescue from the defrauder who is robbed, do not wrong the fatherless, the widow, commit no lawless act, and do not shed the blood of the innocent in this place. And for that, the Most High said that we would have a line of kings of David's line that will be drawn through Jerusalem with chariots and courtiers, horse-drawn chariots with their subjects. Verse 5. But if you do not heed these commands, I swear by myself, declares Shaddai, that this place shall become a ruin. So when I said earlier, this 1619 to 2019 that we claim as our 400 years of captivity, it goes back further. It goes back to David and Jeremiah. The Most High has told us if we were righteous people, then our kingdom will continue because of the wonders he had done for us, and that the world wide had known of our greatness via the Most High's hand, righteous hand being upon us. It is not okay or allowed for us to represent the Most High with evil. He cannot allow and will not allow that. So that is why we find ourselves in this constant state of captivity. We need not look at the government. We need not look at the Senate. We need not look at your teachers. We need to look at ourselves, however you want to call yourself, FBA, ADOS, ADN, whatever things you want to call yourself righteous. Can you do that? Can you call yourself humble in a world that does not want it, that's the opposite of it? Can you say that I may lose in the world's eye, but gain in the Most High, and he's going to put the proper people around me, like-minded, like-spirited, children of the body, as they would say. We, myself included, community activists and messianics, and we get to a point where we want to let everybody know the truth. We want to go out there and we want to help change the world from what it is, but it's too big. And in that process, we start getting aggressive about it. The good ones. We start getting less patience with our brothers and sisters to explain it to them, because it's something that you think the Most High has built. So you start to become an adversary to your own community, an adversary to your own word, an adversary to what the Most High is sending you to be. Oh, this Shabbat, we checking everybody. Our grassroots leaders, our Messianic Hebrews, our shamans, all of these people, even to our evil gangsters, hoods, ratchet sisters and queens, whatever. As a body of us, as a people, we have to break this cycle of believing that we got to meet evil with evil. We got to meet conniving with conniving. I know they don't always hear us. That's why we're supposed to get away from them. We have as the righteous people, have a hard time letting go people we think we're trying to save. We have a hard time letting go people we think that we can show them the light. We have a hard time letting people go that we think are useful in our fight, in our battle. That's that flesh. We have to be able to dust our feet off and continue to go in the Most High. It's not easy. I was on one of those spaces on X, and everybody's kind of having the same kind of question: how we doing? And I'm just explaining to them that you cannot build with contrary people. You cannot. And until you start relying on the Most High, we do not break the system of relying on contrary people. I'm going to let that sit with you. Let's go to Psalms 43. Psalms 43, verse 1. Vindicate me, O Shaddai. Champion my cause against faithless people. That's what you were just asking, right, Sonny? They don't hear us. Against faithless people. Rescue me from the treacherous, dishonest man. What does that mean? I'm glad you put that up in there, sister. Or Sonny. It's all good. When we are saying it's hard to deal with our people, and I'm saying to you that we have to dust our feet off with those people and try to stay continuing on our righteous path, and the Most High will provide those people along the way. Or he will change those people, and those people will come back running. Hear the Most High. This is David speaking of the same thing. David says, vindicate me, Most High, champion my cause against faithless people, people that know not your knowledge, know not, but are trying to walk in their manly ways, against faithless people. Rescue me from the treacherous, dishonest man. It would be considered dishonest if the Most High is what we call honor. If the law of the Most High is what we call honor, and someone is going against it, because we already call his law the rule stick of sin. If you are going against his law, then you are committing sin. So I think it's okay for us to say that a man is dishonest if he's not following the law. I see Emerson is in the building. Many don't want to hear of the law. Many don't think that the law can do anything for them, but the Most High has said his word does not change. I ask you a question in this Psalms 43, verse 1. Did you hear race in there? Did David say, rescue me from the white man? Did you hear David say, rescue me from the Chinese? Man, they're crazy. From the Medes? How about from the Persians? Most High, I need you to rescue me from these white ones, for these Caucasoids. Wasn't David around his own people? David was considered ruddy. That'd be my color. David was around his own people that he's saying this about. Not the white man, not the Chinese man, not the African. No, not the Venezuelan, not the South American, not the Brazilian. His own people. This Psalms, and if you don't know the Old Testament, it's dealing with us as a people. I don't know what you mean by when the button is green speak, but so when you are dealing with your own people, this hasn't just happened since we was in captivity. This hasn't, our people acting this way hasn't been just these 400 years of being taught evil. We had it in us. And until we understand that we have it in us, until we understand that it don't take nothing from any other culture, that we did wrong first. And by some records, we taught them how to be this evil and conniving. Put that in your peace pipe. The Most High and his law has no race involved in it, no color scheme involved in it, no gender in it, man or woman. This is of all. Most High vindicate me, champion my cause against the faithless people. All peoples, children, women, men. Rescue me from treacherous, dishonest men. Verse, or my creator, my stronghold. Why have you been oppressed by the enemy? Send forth your light and your truth. They will lead me. They will bring me to your holy mountain, to your dwelling place, that I may come to the altar of you, to Shaddai, my delight, my joy, that I may praise you with the lyre. That's the, harp, lyre. I think it's the harp, yeah. O Shaddai, why so downcast my soul? Why disquieted within me? Have hope in the Most High. I will yet praise him, my ever-present, my Shaddai. This is David speaking not with a, happy ending. David is in the midst of dealing with treacherous people, his own people. He's asking Most High to help him get those people away from him, dust his feet off them. You have to go through and navigate through human beings until we all individually make the decision to come back into the Most High. Let's go Leviticus 19, verse 15. Leviticus 19, verse 15. Leviticus 19, verse 15. You shall not render an unfair decision. Do not favor the poor or show difference to the rich. Judge your kinsmen fairly. Do not deal basely with your countrymen. Do not profit by the blood of your fellow. I am Shaddai. We are supposed to be a righteous people and an example to others. Others are not going to be like us. So when we say, hey, they don't listen, the Most High deals with it. We are to plant the seed and be an example. I'm going to say it again. The New Testament tells you, hold all the laws on two, love your neighbor and do others. Here's two for you. All right. Follow the law and be righteous to your fellow man. And the Most High will give you grace, mercy, and covering, because your fellow man is not going to be righteous. Your fellow man is going to think that if everybody else is evil, then he's justified in his doing. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 5. Give us a minute this. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 8. And it reads, thus all the land is his. He controls a field that is cultivated. Verse 9, a lover of money never has his fill of money, nor a lover of wealth his fill of income. That too is futile. So that's verse 9. I said verse 8. Thank you, love, for putting verse 8 up, but it was actually verse 9. So when the Most High is talking about these people, and we're talking about a society that's built on what the scripture will call mammon, that's money. Most High said a lover of money never has his fill of money. They can never have enough. And I know some say, oh, if I was a millionaire, I'd have it. But you would live in a different lifestyle, and you would live in a different economic community, meaning that the things that they buy every day is not what you buy every day now. You think as a millionaire right now that you eat, maybe you spend maybe $50 a day to $100 a day. You're like, man, if I got $1 million, I could spend $150 a day. It wouldn't matter. Or I could even spend $200 a day. But the fact of the matter is, once you're at $1 million, you wind up spending $1,000 a day. It happens. You right now probably can't fathom that. You also can't fathom having $1 million. You also don't know what financial covering you're supposed to have when you got $1 million. You don't know what accounts you're supposed to have, and how you're supposed to split your money, how you're supposed to get rid of the taxes, because that's how the rich stay rich. As Donald Trump told Hillary Clinton on the stage, I don't pay taxes. And any of y'all do that's dumb. And y'all ain't gonna change it because that's how your friends do it too, Hillary. We know this, right? I see News and Fact and Comments is in the building. Shabbat Shalom. So we know this, right? It says, a lover of money never has his fill of money, nor a lover of wealth his fill of income. That too is futile. Let's go to Job. We're going to Job chapter 5, verse 8. Job chapter 5, verse 8. But I would resort to the Most High. I would lay my cause or my case before Shaddai. So the title of our lesson is, does your oppression, your black skin, exclude you from being righteous? Because you have been done so wrong. The Most High says that if you put your cause to me, I will vindicate you. But if we have read what we have shown, because evil has done to you. We believe that our people won't change and be good. So therefore, I see Alana's in the building. Our people won't change. So therefore, I got to be conniving with my own people. I got to be one up on my own people. And what our scripture showed us, no, we're in David to dust our feet off of evil people and continue to go forward. And the Most High will bring those people to us. Because if we keep those evil people with us, then they believe that being evil is okay. We are not giving the Most High his opportunity to deal with that person when you dust your feet off with them. We so emotional about our flesh. We're concerned about how that person is thinking of us when we dust our feet off with them. We're concerned about how the people around us are looking at us because we done got rid of somebody in our lives. That's not even what we're supposed to be concerned about. We should be hoping that the Most High is dealing with that person, dealing with that mustard seed that you put in them about being righteous, and that righteousness is now growing within that person. You've been an election judge for over 10 years, seen misconduct. Oh, I'm sure you've seen misconduct throughout. The judicial system is set for misconduct. The judicial system in the United States is set for two things: for loopholes and for the upper class, the aristocrats. It is to tax the low and the poor, and it is to put in jail the ones that threaten the upper class. That's all the judge, that's all the system is for. It is not a righteousness. The only righteousness is the book of Leviticus when it comes to the law. Any law of any land, of any continent. The book of Leviticus. And if we aren't following that, and you aren't following the law of the Most High, you're following man-made laws that always has a scapegoat for man, which allows man to perpetuate its evil. The same way that when they impeached him for the second time, they had an opportunity, the Democrats, the Independents, the Republicans, all of them before there was ever an election, to make sure that the orange guy could not run in another election in North America because of his second impeachment. And you know what the Democrats, his own enemies, said? What the enemy said? They said, look here. What if this happened to one of us, man? I mean, somebody could actually stop us from our meal ticket, which is this judicial system, this Congress, this is how we eat. This is how we eat off of the low people. This is the system we put in place. We can't necessarily put a president in place where they can remove us from participating in our system. So the Democrats and the Republicans and the Independent came together and said, no, stop him from running in any more elections because that could affect our people. And now we're in a place we're in. So possibly trust these people or think that they are going to do something that is righteous. The law that matters and the law that brings salvation is Leviticus and Exodus chapter 20, right? So in this Job, and it reads, but I will resort to the Most High. I will lay my case before Shaddai. Verse 9, who performs great deeds which cannot be fathomed. So the other problem our people have is that we can't predict how the Most High is going to do it for us. And because we can't predict it, we can't see it, so we don't trust it. If you can't fathom how you would do it in your mind with your hands and your connections, you don't believe that the Most High is actually going to do it. You don't actually believe He hears you. You don't have the patience to hold down. It says in 9, who performs great deeds which cannot be fathomed, wondrous things without wondrous things without numbers, meaning there's no end to His wondrous things that He can provide for you in your life that you can't fathom. But if you're a person that can only deal with what you see, then you're going to miss out on His glory, on His greatness, on His understanding, on His righteousness, and you will find yourself in a complete system of always doing as man does, surviving off of your skills, which actually puts you in a situation to just continually be oppressed. Never breaking it, never breaking the cycle. Then every once in a while, you'll make an infraction, even though you're trying to be righteous. You'll say, I deserve to do that. And then your guilt will start to beat you. Your guilt will start to beat you. But if you had read and if you had understood that when you are in righteousness, many times you are directly in opposition of this world. And what the world may think is wrong may not always be wrong in the Most High. So what the world may think is an infraction is actually you standing on the Most High. But if you don't know that, you let your guilt beat you as though you did something wrong to a people that are doing you wrong. Trick bag, baby. But if you don't know the Most High, if you ain't trying to follow His, you stand, you'll be confused. You're going to be like being a bobsleigh in the sea, and choppy waters. Let's go to Exodus 23. Exodus 23, verse 7. Keep far from a false charge. Do not bring death on those who are innocent and in the right, for I will not acquit the wrongdoer. Most High says, keep far from false charging people. Don't lie on nobody. Don't assume something. It's not a lie. You're just assuming that that person is evil. Most High said, do not give a false charge. Do not bring death. A false charge is equivalent to death to the Most High. Why would he say such a thing? Because when you are saying these things, the Most High hears you. The Most High tells us often that your mouth brings either life or death. So if you are condemning someone, that's like death. The Most High hears you. The Most High hears your plea. The Most High hears you crying out of your injustice. And if you are saying you're being done unjustly by someone that is not doing you unjustly, Exodus 23, verse 7. Bring death on those who are innocent and in the right, for I will not acquit the wrongdoer. Verse 8, do not take bribes, for bribes blind the clear-sighted and upset the pleas of those who are in the right. Verse 9, you shall not oppress a stranger, for you know the feeling of the stranger, having yourselves been strangers in the land of Egypt. So again, the Most High is saying, no, just because you've been done wrong by the Egyptians don't mean that you do wrong to others. The same point here that we're making in the title, does your oppression exclude you from being righteous? Does your skin and the drama that has come with your skin allow you to just be evil and unrighteous, to assume on others? Let's go to Proverbs 22. Proverbs 22, verse 8. He who sows injustice shall reap misfortune. His rod of wrath shall fail. Even though it may sound good, it may look good, you may talk real mad cash money online. But when it comes down to the actual get down, Most High say you will not prevail. You may look like the big bad giant, and the Most High will send a little David with a slingshot. Understand that your terror can be defeated by anything because of the wonders that the Most High has in his treasures. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 8. Zechariah, not Zach, Zech. Zechariah chapter 8, verse 7 through 8. Zechariah, Zechariah. And verse 7. But I will clean out the blood from its mouth and the detestable things from between its teeth. Its survivors, too, shall belong to our Creator. They shall become like a clan in Yehuda, in Judah. And Ekron shall be like the Jebusites. And I will encamp in my house against armies, against any that come and go. And no oppressor shall ever overturn them again. For I have now taken note with my own eyes. Verse 9, rejoice greatly, fair Zion. Raise a shout, fair Jerusalem. Lo, your king is coming to you. He is victorious, triumph, yet humble, riding on an ass, on a donkey, followed by a she-ass. He shall banish chariots from Ephraim and horses from Jerusalem. The warrior's bow shall be banished, and he shall call on his nations to surrender, and his rule shall extend from the sea to sea, and from ocean to the land's end. So it says, he will clean out the blood from its mouth. And before that, it was speaking of how the Most High was going to destroy Escalon, Ekron, Escalon, all the places that are in Gaza right now. That's Zechariah verse 5. through 6. And we picked it up at 7. So the Most High said that he was going to come and destroy all of Gaza, and that he was going to clean, right, and overturn for Jerusalem. And that he's going to make it triumph, and yet riding on an ass, on a donkey foaled by a she-ass. So this is supposed to get the image of how humbly it was going to happen, how it was going to happen in such a manner that man would not be able to, I think man would not be, says, yet humble, riding on an ass, on a donkey, foaled by a she-ass. He banished chariots from Ephraim, and the warrior's bow shall be banished. So, as we see, everything in Gaza is being ripped and snatched. The oppressor, though he may seem as though he is winning, though the oppressor may seem as though he's doing something that is totally against what is good and righteous, but what you find is that the Most High using all of these wonders and treasures to do his bidding. Depends on where you stand, whether you like it or not. But regardless of where you stand, it is being done in his name, because it is his prophecies that are being fulfilled. This people that have done this destruction of Gaza are not being venerated or going to be destroyed for their own actions. So wrong and wrong, destroying each other and imploding. When the Most High speaks of Gog and Magog or Armageddon, he's not talking about his people that are righteous that are going to die. He doesn't speak of us raising an army of righteous people going to war against these people. The Most High says over and over again, I'm going to have evil against evil rise up, go to battle, and die. You may not want to see it as that. You may believe that. I don't really care. I don't really care if you think that Gaza people are good and they're being done wrong. I don't really care if you think Israel has their right to do so. What I'm telling you is that the word of the Most High has cleansed and decided to, his prophecies have come through. That the original people that were there are not there. The people that call themselves Gazans aren't the original people that were there. They aren't the original Arabs. They are Turkish people that came into that land. Regardless of how many centuries ago it was, they aren't the original people. You had wars, you've had famine, you've had pestilence, you've had so much happen in that region. It's amazing that people think those are the original. Anyway, so that being said, understanding being righteous isn't always what you have been indoctrinated to believe righteous is, or what you think you're looking at on a global scale and giving your judgment of that right or that wrong. If you haven't heard, you may find yourself onto Malachi for our last one. Malachi chapter 3, verse 5. Malachi chapter 3, verse 5. And it reads, "But first, I will step forward to control or to contend against you, and I will act as a relentless accuser against those who have no fear of me, who practice sorcery, who commit adultery, who swear falsely, who cheat labors of their hire, and who subvert the cause of the widow, the orphan, and stranger, says the Most High of the host. Well, I'm glad that you got it, Sonny. I'm glad that you enjoyed this, because this is what this is about. In this end times that we're in, it is about coming back to the word. It is about wrapping ourselves in the word. And any image that you got in your mind of that, when I said wrap yourself around the word, that has been given to you by your indoctrination. That's been given to you by your Baptist, by your Christian, by whatever you've followed in your life. That's not what this is. This is the Old Testament in which we walk by these laws. By Exodus chapter 20, we live it. We're not speaking it, we're living it. What we speak is our testimonies. What we regurgitate is his word. That is it. No more, no less. Why? Because as it says here in Malachi chapter 3, verse 5, again, but first I will step forward. Most High said the first thing he's going to do, he's going to step forward and contend against you, not the nations. Again, this is a concept that I must reiterate. The Most High did not have a chosen people to look at the rest of the world to wag their finger and say, aha, see, I got a chosen people and y'all ain't chosen. The Most High did not have a people and bring them out of Egypt and bring them through all those things so that the Most High can have some type of hierarchy. That's not what he has done. The Most High put his hand on a group of people that would contend for his word until the end of time. I'm going to say it, raised a people so that they would say his word and would stand on his law until the end of time. So there will be a remnant that will be a witness unto him, that he will be a battle axe, that they will be the battle axe for the Most High. So the Most High says, I will contend with you first because I need you to be righteous. Baby, I love you. I love you more than anybody else. And I need you to be righteous. I need your testimonies to be of me and how I saved you, how I have given you life, how I have covered you in the horriblest times, how I raised you up with wealth, with land, that I am a God of my word. He needs us to be the testimony of that because nobody else is saying that. So he says here, I contend with you first as my chosen people, as the one that's going to stand on my law. He says, I will contend against you, and I will act as a relentless accuser against those who have no fear of me. Not the ones that love him, not the ones that are standing on his law, but the ones that have no fear of him, but fear every other God, fear every other government, fear every other oppression, except your creator. It says, the ones who practice sorcery, who commit adultery, who swear falsely, who cheat laborers of their hire, and who subvert the cause of the widow, the orphan, the stranger, says the Most High of the army, of the host. That is Shaddai. I give all praises unto the Most High on this Shabbat. I pray on his fourth commandment that we are recognizing and living. We pray that you all were able to follow the Sabbath in proper order. That meant from sundown on Friday yesterday until this sundown now. You have not spent any money. You did not start a fire and cook. You warmed your food, but you prepared it in advance for today. And you have been meditating on his word. And all of you here, you have definitely checked that box on meditating on his word today. So give all praises unto the Most High, and I give all praises to you for following his fourth commandment on this day. All praises. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Remember, your skin does not exclude you. from being righteous. Actually, your skin and your oppression is your guiding light when you are righteous. Because they will say, with all that has been done to you, if you can still be righteous, then why can't I? All praise unto the Most High. Me shalom. My computer.